Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, right? This is a fight that we've been talking about this fight for ages, and you know, I don't know. It just seems far away at this stage. But Anthony Joshua gave an interview with IFL TV where he was saying that he wants this Tyson Fury fight, and he's admitted now that he is willing. He doesn't feel like he needs it. Not necessarily doesn't feel like he needs it, but he is willing, in order to make this fight, to give up that WBO title. Alright? Now, that doesn't surprise me at all, because, to be honest with you, right, when I look back several years now, 3 years nearly, when AJ was IBF WBA champion, even back then, Eddie Hearn was saying, in order to make the big fights, if needs be, we'll vacate one of these titles in order to make these big fights. So, AJ Fury is a big fight. I mean, that fight will generate serious numbers on pay-per-view. Sky and BT Sport, they'll probably do a joint pay-per-view. They will be paying, you'll be charged dear for that. It won't be just 25 quid, it'll probably be about 30 quid. They'll be charging dear for that. They'll be reaching for the price for that fight. So, that fight is so big that an undisputed status, look, we all want to see undisputed. I mean, I do. But it wouldn't be the be-all and end-all. You know, that fight, people just want to see that fight, as opposed to it being for undisputed necessarily. So AJ vacating the WBO title, if in fact he does, that doesn't surprise me. Now, I've seen some reports where Alexander Usyk has hinted at the fact that he will take the step-aside money, but the WBO have also come out, you know, in a couple of interviews. Well, I think the president of the WBO came out and said that with Anthony Joshua, he's had several exemptions at this stage from the WBO in order to basically win back his title, in order to defend it against Kubrat Pulev. I think he had an exemption for that too. At this stage now, they're saying no more exemptions. Now, that could be the WBO just, you know, trying to save face and, you know, act like, you know, they're, you know, a good sanctioned body that they, you know, care about their mandatories, this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, right, these sanctioned bodies get sanction fees, right? If the WBO know that Fury versus AJ is next, and they're pretty confident that that fight is next, they are not under any, they will not just turn around and say, do you know what, we're going to keep our morals, we're going to enforce the mandatory, and if you don't take it, well then, you know, we're going to strip you, when there's so much money on the line. Because all these sanctioned bodies love their money. Alright, they do. So I'd be very surprised if the WBO follow through with that. If AJ wants to vacate, if AJ looks at Usyk, because see, what you could think about it like this, right? AJ could look at Alexander Usyk and think, yeah, I could beat you, but I've had fights lined up in the past. You know, fights that I thought I could have made, I ended up losing, and I had to go and fight and try and get my title back and hold myself up. So maybe AJ in the back of his mind is going to look at Usyk, and maybe he'll look at Usyk and just think, you know what, I don't fancy that work from a styles point of view. He just wants that Tyson Fury fight. Tyson Fury, at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on with him with Deontay Wilder, but 2021, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if we'll see that fight. You see, AJ versus Fury, irrespective of what title's on the line, there's one thing that fight needs. There's one thing it needs. It needs a full gate. It needs a full gate. Not just for the atmosphere. No, the atmosphere would be brilliant. It'd be a credible atmosphere. It'd fill out Wembley. But if you're Eddie Hearn, you're Frank Warren, Bob Arum, you're wanting to maximise revenue. Alright, if you put that on in a stadium, right, and it will fill out 90,000 at Wembley, you want to have the 90,000 fans there, right, because you're going to get paid. You're going to get the gate receipt, right? If you just do a pay-per-view and you just do it with a couple of it's not going to pay for itself as much as it would if you had full attendance. So I think that Fury versus AJ doesn't necessarily hinge on what title is there. I think the titles are almost irrelevant now at this stage. It's more about the fight itself. I mean, having the title there is all well and good, but it's more about the actual fight, two guys getting in the ring, having that fight. It needs fans. It needs fans because they are going to want to make maximum amount of money. And they will not do that fight behind closed doors, and they will not do that fight if it's anything less than what they feel they need in terms of a gate receipt or fans. So I think that's the main thing driving this fight for next year, is if we'll have full attendance. If we full attendance, we'll see that fight next year. If we don't, or if they're still, you know, yeah, I'm not going into that, but if they're still being as the way they are, I can't see that fight happening next year. You know, irrespective of what title AJ has. But it's interesting that they're thinking about that. They want to get this fight made. They want to get this fight over the line. based upon the performance I saw AJ versus Pulev, I wouldn't be picking AJ over Fury. Having said that, I would be very circumspect about Fury if he doesn't have an interim fight. If they have, say for argument, they have this fight with AJ next year in the summertime. All right, if ever, in a perfect world, and hopefully it is, they have this fight in the summertime, full attendance. That would have been what, 15, 16 months, maybe more, out of the ring for Fury. You would ask the question about ring rust. You know, the question will come to your mind. Ring rust, maybe, possibly, who knows. Gonna leave it here. But I find it very interesting that AJ talked about vacating the WBO title. I wouldn't be shocked if he did. And at the end of the day, we get Joyce versus Usyk, which is not a bad fight. It's a repeat from the World Boxing Super Series, or the World Series of Boxing, I should say. So we get to see that fight for the vacant title. Be an interesting one. Be an interesting one, lads. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm going to call it here. Tomorrow, well, today is Wednesday. Well, actually, it's Tuesday evening tonight. But when this video goes up, it'll be Wednesday morning. Lads, it's the Christmas live stream this evening. And when I say Christmas live stream, it's just going to be talking about boxing, but it's the last one before Christmas. About 8, half 8 this evening. Everyone wants to lock in. Hope y'all enjoy it. I'll talk to you for now. Live stream this evening, as always, lads. Midweek live stream, just before Christmas. We talk about boxing, all those things. I'm just plugging it now while I have y'all here. Hope y'all enjoy it, lads. I'll talk to you later. Peace.